pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Debbie, call the roll.
Trustee Guyer.
Here.
Trustee Spurling. Here. Trustee Bauman.
Here.
Trustee Youngerman.
Here.
Trustee Marisak.
Here.
Trustee Brzoska.
And we're all here this evening. First item is public comment. Is there any member of the public that's here tonight wishing to address the board? I don't see any. Okay, moving on, we have 5 items on consent. I'll read the items and entertain a motion for approval. We have minutes of the August 11th Village Board meeting, accounts payable summary report for August of 25th, the refuse report for July of 2025, ordinance 2144 granting a plat of subdivision, this is second reading, and resolution 2025-027 authorizing the release of a performance security for Bell Tires.
So moved.
Second. Call the roll.
Trustee Brzoska.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yeah.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Carries 6-0, thank you. Under item for separate action tonight, the first one is a PSA for Phase 2 US Route 30 pedestrian bridge design engineering. Director Wolf.
Thank you, President Browley. So the village applied for and was selected for a ITEP grant some time ago. The ITEP grant is for the Route 30 pedestrian bridge. The funding for that project is 80% through the grant and a 20% local funding. The village additionally entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the Fox Valley Park District, where they will be contributing 50% of that. Previously, the board had awarded a Phase 1 to EEI PSA for this project. So we are looking to move forward with the Phase 2 at this time, which would allow for us to commence with a targeted fall of 2026 letting for the project. So if there are any questions from the board, I am happy to answer them at this time.
Thank you. Questions?
If it's a fall of 26 letting, construction sometime in 27? Or?
I think that would,
That would be the hope. The big unknown is the lead time to fabricate and get the bridge. So there is a chance it could push into 2028.
There's some other engineering firms on this. Are these like specialized firms because EEI doesn't have the capability to do those? I see there's, what, 3 on here?
Yes, so Huff and Huff does wetland delineations, and we'll do all of the CCDD and LPC forms to get rid of the soil, basically. Banish is the structural subcontractor that's gonna do the bridge design. And then Mathewson is a company that does land acquisition to get the land acquisition that we need to for the project.
Okay, and then I see all the backup for that. What's EEI's portion of this project gonna be? There wasn't any schedule of, what EEI was doing as far as, are you just managing these 3 companies, or?
No, there is a scope in there in Exhibit A, but we'll be doing all the design for the bike path. It's on page 7 of the agreement, lists our scope and what we're doing. But there's a maintenance of traffic that needs to get done. There's coordination, obviously, with IDOT. We'll be doing all the submittals. We'll be designing the embankment and the bike path portions of the project, doing the stormwater pollution prevention plan, coordinating with the park district, putting together all the project sheets, and doing all the actual submittals to IDOT will be by us.
Okay. And this is Phase 2, and I don't recall, but refresh my memory. When we started this project, we went to Phase 1. And again, EEI does a great job for the village, and you guys, I know you do our water and stuff. But did we actually go out for bids on this and put this out? As this is it's what I would call a one-off project. It's not a continuing project. It's not our water system that EEI's been heavily involved in, or our road program or anything. This is just a one-and-done type thing. Did we go out? Because I know we've discussed this before, and I know other board members have asked this question. But did we actually go out and get engineering proposals on this, or did we just go with the EI?
Yep, so for this project, because of the ITEP grant, we were required to do the QBS, so, which was, we had 4 contractors or 5, I don't recall off the top of my head, that submitted for this, and then there was a scoring process through their submittals, which we scored the engineering firms for this project. And so therefore, we selected EEI based upon that scoring.
Okay, perfect. So it wasn't just like we just gave them the project. There was a process that we went through, and then they were awarded the project. Perfect, thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Is there a motion?
Second. Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Brazaska?
Yes.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling?
Yes.
Trustee Bauman?
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Thank you. All right, item B is related. Resolution 2025-028, authorizing the village's share of design engineering costs for the US Route 30 pedestrian bridge. Engineer Ott?
Thank you, President Rowley. As Director Wolf stated, the project does have an 80-20 funding split for the design engineering, so IDOT will be paying for 80% and the village will be paying for 20%. In order to get that taken care of, the village is required to enter into an agreement with IDOT that just memorializes what IDOT's share is, what the village share is, and how reimbursement will work for that. So that is what this agreement will do.
Quick question. So that 20%, was that already calculated into the budget for this fiscal budget and it's ready to go?
And the 260,000 that is on this, is that our 20%, is that our 10% of the 20? Or is that the whole 20%? And then we get the other reimbursement?
So the state share is just under 204,000. The village share would be 50,000.
Okay.
And then of that 50,000, that's the village share, would then be split between you and Fox Valley Park District with a separate IGA. But for the engineering, the village does pay for it up front and then ask for reimbursement back from IDOT, just as an FYI for everyone.
Thank you.
No, that we're just using, the state's going to use our money and float it for a little while? We're not going to comment on that?
Don't they always?
All right, any other questions on this item?
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Brazaska? Trustee Guyer? Trustee Spurling? Trustee Bauman?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
That carries 6-0, thanks. All right, item C is Resolution 2025-029, authorizing a mobile food facility license. Mr. Sirloin at 1460 and 1490 Douglas Road. Director App?
Thank you, President Brawley. Mr. Sirloin is requesting approval of a mobile food facility license at 1460 to 1490 Douglas Road. This is approximately where the Velasquez Muffler and Break is, as well as the Deep Sound Montgomery location. The property owner has granted the permission to operate on their property. They've historically had a food truck on that property, and we have licensed them, but the last one they had did not renew their license, and so now Mr. Sirloin has applied to be at that location. If this is approved, we would have our total number of mobile food facilities at 6 for the year of 2025. So, Mr. Montenegro and his daughter are here to answer any questions that you have.
Questions? Thoughts?
I mean, it's not a new food truck. I mean, well, it is a new food truck, but it's just replacing previously operated food truck at the same location, and nothing's really
What was the
changing.
previous food truck?
I believe it was Mr. Gordito's, or Gordito's Tacos. It's like a yellow truck. So
I remember
they
us not,
operated for a very short time at the beginning of this
That's a
year.
different
And we told them they had to renew, and they did not. And so now we have a new applicant.
I recall discussions about not having taco truck there because we have two brick and mortar, La Chiquita and Las Cosmosas, that is not a food truck. They have brick and mortar and have to pay for all of the ANSO systems and things. So I thought it was, at one point, it was a barbecue truck, just because of the,
I mean, the only,
Go ahead.
the only thing I would say is both of those restaurants opened up actually, one of those restaurants opened up before the food truck, and then the Los Comales opened up afterwards. So I'm sure I guess they weren't threatened by it.
I'm going to be consistent with what I've always said, that, you know, we can't, we want to approve a truck over here, but we don't want to approve a truck over here. And we're going to be consistent, at least I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to vote no. Not because I think you guys have the best tacos in the world. I go over there all the time. And this has nothing to do with you. This has to do with me being consistent in the way that I voted previously in the past, because they say that they want taco trucks, and they say that they don't want taco trucks. So I decided I'm gonna vote one way, and I'm gonna stay that way, and that's why I'm gonna stay that way. But you'll probably see me over there tomorrow.
I would vocalize it that I'm not in favor of adding food trucks. I'm gonna say food trucks because it's irrelevant on what food is being served. But if this is simply a replacement of a truck that was operating at that location previously, that's where I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with increasing the number of trucks that are serving the community, but if it's simply a replacement, I would support it.
Okay. Any other comments?
I'm still a no. Again, nothing against you or your business. I feel that we've had an oversaturation. Again, that's my opinion. We've had an oversaturation in predominantly the east of Orchard Road. We've had an oversaturation of the food trucks. So I have been saying no for years. So I'm not going to support it this evening.
And I think maybe perhaps that over the course of the years, that some people's opinions have changed. Maybe we need to revisit food trucks in their entirety in the village. I agree with trustee Bauman. I mean, it's a replacement. There's a food truck there. We're not adding. I understand where trustee Youngerman's coming from. I tend to take more things in consideration. The one I voted no on was because we had history with that food truck, and he didn't do what he's supposed to do. We had one on the far east side of town who did not come in and renew his license, and he just simply moved and kind of tried to sneak underneath the radar and got caught, so I was a no on that one. But maybe it's time that we, as a board, make a decision if we just want to not have food trucks in the village anymore, because it seems like this is starting to become, a bone of contention with some members, and maybe it's just time to say, well, it's a great experiment, maybe we gave it a run, and
Well, and
it's just not for Montgomery.
I appreciate that. I'd welcome some feedback from the public, because I don't hear anything really positive or negative about any trucks in general. People go out, if they're there, they eat, if not, they don't.
Or maybe it's a conversation of a balance
Right.
of brick and mortar and food trucks, not saying, no, we prefer no food trucks, but just what is that happy medium of, all right, having 5 or 6 around town, either side of town is okay, but just how many times do we go through that process? Do we say, okay, we think this is a balance for what the community can sustain or
Right.
would like?
Just seems like over the years, it's kind of changed. At first, it was pretty much, the board was in favor of food trucks, and now it's starting to come to a point where, we're denying people, or or we're a split board or whatever. It just seems, I think we need to revisit the whole food truck thing and see where we're at with it, and perhaps that's the happy medium. Maybe we say, well, we don't want, food trucks within X amount of distance from one another.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think it's irrational at all to have a conversation like that. Right now, there's 2 permits that we have within this corridor. one on the east side, two there, and then the Seasoned Ridge one I'm not familiar with, but. Okay. Any other comments? Cool. Is there a motion?
I'm sorry, just one, so Sonia, the ones that are listed here are the ones that then actually renewed as well, correct?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
The, shoot, I lost it. The list that's there are the ones that actually have renewed, correct? And
Correct.
are active at this point?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Through the end of the year? This renews every January 1?
I mean, we're not really tight on that. Typically, around March is when we send out our renewal notices, because a lot of them have March renewal dates on their health department certificates.
Okay.
The CC Sprinkles, is that, that's the bicycle?
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Now I know.
Now
Now I
you
know her.
Know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so this current applicant is on the list.
Because this ordinance would create.
This ordinance would
That's
create that.
6. One of the last applicants, Digby's Food, over on the west side on Orchard, is on here, but I haven't seen any placement of a truck yet or anything happening.
Yeah.
Has there been any update, or do we have any knowledge of what's going on with them?
I know we issued their permit, so I think they were out there. If they haven't been out there recently, I'm not sure what happened. So, but we issued it for 2025.
Yeah. I drive past there every day and I look for them.
There's nothing, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet, but that's okay. Motion?
Second?
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Brzoska.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling. Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
And Trustee Youngerman.
Yes, or, no, sorry. I'm confused now.
Four and a half.
And that's why we need to have a discussion.
4-2. All right, 4-2 approved. Thank you, appreciate it.
That was a surprise.
All right,
That pause got me.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, big dramatic moment.
1 point for Debbie on the fake out on that. All right. Moving on, last item for separate action, we have ordinance 2145 approving a final plat of subdivision for St. Olaf Church subdivision, waiver of first passage on second reading. Director Epp?
Yes, so St. Olaf has submitted their final plat of subdivision for the Wayside Cross Youth Activity Center. So this would create the two lots, one for the church and one for the youth center. This is sort of their last step that they need in order to be able to close on the property. So this is in compliance with the preliminary plat that you previously approved and the variances that were related to that. So we are also have the vacation plat for Elliott Avenue in hand, so we will be getting that recorded shortly, and that is the next step that we need before we can record this final plat. So this is before you for waiver of first reading, since it is in compliance with the preliminary plat you previously approved.
So moved?
Any discussion?
No.
Okay,
They were
she's gonna
awfully
start,
quick.
she's gonna call the roll and you're gonna be
No,
last.
I'm gonna be last.
Okay.
I'm always last.
All right, hit it.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Brzoska.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
No.
Trustee Spurling.
No.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
All right, that carries 4-2, thank you. All right, we don't have anything for discussion, anything new or unfinished?
Yes.
Douglas?
I would like to thank staff in general, and specifically our Public Works Department for all of the hard work putting on Montgomery Fest, prepping for Montgomery Fest. Unbeknownst to many of you, there was a water main break on Sunday morning, correct, Mark?
Saturday.
Saturday, and then we had the storm Saturday evening. So when I went home at 9:30 Saturday night, they were out cutting a tree off of the top of someone's car out next to my subdivision. So I know that your folks put in a lot of time and effort and work and long hours, and I just want them to know that it's appreciated.
Thank you.
I echo that, even though there are a lot of times I get into you. Your guys did great, you did great. We appreciate all your effort. Public Works was spread a little thin with everything that was going on, and you guys truly stepped up. PD stepped up, staff, Rosie and Christina did a fantastic job. Whoever determined and decided that cooling area with the food brought in for the volunteers and stuff is a genius. That is exactly what needed to happen. I was thinking about this earlier this week. It used to be a situation where Denny and Pete and things were kind of the rulers and all of those things. And we're pretty much to the point now where they don't need us, right? It pretty much runs, they don't need us. They need us to make some decisions. They need us to really see people and interact with people and as a trustee and stuff. But as far as running the fest, they do a pretty kick-ass job. And they don't necessarily need us anymore. So Doug, you're being replaced.
Second. Oops. Just kidding. But I do echo all of that. It was incredible. I mean, rain happens, there's bad weather, there's public works, stuff to work on, but you couldn't tell. And we all go there, many of us spent 15 some years there, going there for the whole weekend and doing all the things. But then you take a minute, you look at the public that's there, they come, they really enjoy it, they go home. And those are like core memories for some of those kids. So that's why we do it.
And as a side note, Mark, I've experienced my least favorite fest memory, wrestling with all those pop-up tents. Because they go together really nice when they collapse. When they fall apart, it's like wrestling an octopus to put it in the dumpster. It was not a fun experience. All in all, it was just, again, phenomenal job. Again, thank you, Rosie, Christina. The shirts were awesome, by the way. Really like the shirts. A lot of compliments on the
everybody
shirts.
likes those.
It was great. Thank you.
I really like the idea of the employee lunch and breakfast and dinner. I think it brought staff together. I saw people talking to one another that wouldn't normally talk to one another. You had police department and public works all in there hanging out together. It's really nice to see. Well done.
Yep.
Renee hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
She is now the den mom. I saw her on.
We call her.
Sunday morning. She came walking down with a basket like Little Red Riding Hood, and she said, "I need to go feed my boys." So I gave her my golf cart, and she was going to walk. I'm like, they could be at the far end of the park. Just take the cart and go. And she had a smile on her face the whole time. She absolutely loved it, and she did a great job. She knocked it out of the park, putting that together. So,
Renee did fantastic.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, the event Friday night was really good. And I actually have it on my list to pretty much say what Doug said. There was one other thing. I wasn't down there the whole time. I was running back and forth. And as far as the water main break, I noticed as I was running up and down Ockett that the guys were out there, and I'm thinking, how long does it take to fix a water main break? But I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but you call an emergency locate, they have 2 hours to respond. When they don't respond, you call them in again. In all my years of working for Public Works, it was very rare that you ever had to call them back a second time, but you had to call them 3 times, right? And so how many hours and how many guys do we have sitting out there waiting for USIC to come do locates so these guys can fix this water main break? At least 4 hours, right?
I think it was closer to 5, yeah.
So 5 hours. So, yeah, the guys did a great job. If anybody makes any comments about that, it wasn't our Public Works employees that were just sitting there doing nothing, although they were following the procedure. They were waiting for locates because you can't dig without them. My only question is there some way we can go back on USIC and say, guess what, you owe us some money for our staff? How many people are out there? 4 on time and a half?
Yep, 4 guys out there. That's been on our list to talk to the coordinators at Julie to talk about the process and trying to make changes and put some pressure on USIC as a private utility locator to adhere to the standards that are set forth, because it was a prime example of why we follow those procedures. So in the process of waiting for those 3 no-show calls. Come to find out, when they did show up, there's a high-pressure gas main that's about 2.5 feet from our water main, so which requires watch and protect to come out. So had our crews had started digging and God forbid something would have happened, it would not have been good. So that's why we follow those procedures and why it's important for anybody in general to call in locates, because you don't know what's there. So, but it is something that we are discussing and we are going to be looking into.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the USIC guy was here marking the kayak launch, and Mark said, "I need you out here," and he said, "I can't, it's not my ticket." So there was a guy here on site that couldn't drive 4 minutes away to fix it, because that's not the policy. So Mark said he was looking like me on Sunday night a little.
USIC kind of reminds me of Amazon. You ever seen the Amazon truck drive past your house? And then 15 minutes later, another Amazon truck comes in and basically delivers to your house? It's like, why didn't the one truck have my, so, yeah, they have their own rules. I do have another thing here. Gordon Road Extension, and I'm talking about between Dixon and Galena. Is that project completed, or is there a punch list still going?
So there is an active punch list. I met out there about 2 weeks ago with John Burchide from Kendall County to go over that punch list. So we are working with the contractor. They have made some attempts at completing things, but that's still ongoing. So the county is definitely putting pressure on the contractor to try to get at those items resolved. But it's close. It's active. The signal work has been completed, really down to landscaping and some other concrete work. Waiting on, I believe the striping was supposed to be done. I haven't gotten out there this week for the patch. They had to do a patch in the left turn lane.
Right.
So they're working on it.
Yeah, because at one point in time, the weeds were massive.
They were atrocious.
Yeah, they were awful. So they're going to come back and they're going to turn all that over and actually put some type of,
So I've been pushing
Something
the
besides
contractor for a plan for reseeding, because as it stands right now, I've made it known to the county that we will not be accepting it in the condition that it's in, because it is primarily weeds. There's really no turf at all. So they are aware of that. They have not made me aware of what their plan is. My hope is that they'll come in and dress the area with topsoil in the fall and reseed, hope for it to go dormant, and then we'll see what happens in the spring. Obviously, conditions were very harsh too, not to make excuses for them because they haven't been the greatest on their follow-through, but it was pretty tough growing conditions as well, so.
okay. And then at the corner there of Dixon and Gordon, there's no cross traffic and there's no conflicting traffic, but there's 2 stop signs there. I know this wasn't our project, but when they designed the project, was there a reason for putting stop signs at a 90-degree angle corner with no conflicting or cross traffic?
So you hit the nail kind of on the head there. The 90-degree corner was a concern of ours, with people with it set in their heads on the way that Dixon formerly existed, to draw attention to it to stop, but also the future plan for Gordon to go through. It's likely that there will be stop signs at that intersection. So again, instead of making that change at that time, we decided that it was appropriate to do it now, but really it was more of a safety type issue, wanting traffic to slow down because people are so kind of repetitious about their travel, so.
Because I did notice it had the arrows and stuff, and the only thing that concerns me is, I think it was at the last board meeting, when we had a conversation about, the stop signs on Gordon, and we say you can't utilize stop signs for, to control speed, and it sounds like that's what those stop signs are being used for, is just to make people slow down before they make a corner. I have a little concern with that. If they're not a warranted sign, then, as President Brawley has said the last meeting, if someone feels it's not a warranted sign, they don't necessarily have to obey that sign. So now we have a whole enforcement thing if somebody rolls through the sign. But you know me, I got to look stuff up, right? So I did. I looked up the MUTCD, and just for everybody's benefit, it does say under stop signs, MUTCD, stop signs should not be used for speed control. So that kind of goes on with the Concord Drive thing. But then it says stop signs should be installed in a manner that minimizes the numbers of vehicles having to stop. At intersections where a full stop is not necessary at all times, consideration should be given to using less restrictive measures such as yield signs. And then it says a stop sign should not be installed on a major street unless justified by traffic engineering study. I go that way quite a bit, and I will tell you, people don't stop for the stop signs. They're just rolling
But-
right through them, so.
And again, forgive me if I'm wrong, but that road used to go straight, and now it goes into
On
a
Dixon,
field.
yes, on Dixon.
So to put the stop sign in so people didn't, through force of travel, drive into the field,
Well, they're
the
not,
stop
because
sign
there's.
stops them.
Right, there's dead-end placards and there's arrows up to indicate that.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is, and again, to trustee Harmon's point earlier, is being consistent, right? So we don't feel that we warrant a stop sign at Concord and Thunder Gulch because you don't use it for speed control and you don't use it for any other reason but a warranted stop sign. So if through, when they designed this Gordon Road extension, that whole intersection and stuff, if they did not do some type of a study that said, yes, we're gonna need 2 stop signs there, it's not a warranted stop sign. That's just a point I'm making. Is it a warranted stop sign? Was there a study done as part of the overall project to make a warranted stop sign? If not, then we're kind of back in that same issue of now we've put stop signs up. Did we install the stop signs or did the contractors?
No, that was all designed through the project
So it was
with Kendall
designed.
County.
So I guess that's my question, was it warranted when it was designed, right? Or, because it's our intersection, it's our roads. So I don't want to be stuck in a situation where we have a stop sign up there is not warranted. I'm not advocating to remove the stop signs at all. I agree with you that, you know, people out of habit. But again, there's other signage for those issues. You know, if you go out west on some of the country roads and stuff where they have those turns like that, they have the chevrons and they have the red placards and stuff that warn people. I'm just looking at what the UMTCD says. And at a minimum, right away, what we should do is, based on, when you're going southbound on Dixon, there's a stop ahead sign. It's literally like 3 car lengths before the stop sign. And based on the speed of that road, it should be 750 feet before that stop sign. So when the contractor put that up, he put that in a bad spot because literally, when you see the stop ahead, you're on the stop sign.
My guess is that they didn't move it. That
Yeah.
it was there when the
No,
stop sign
no,
was
it's
at
new. It's new. It's a
Galena.
new one, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's new. So at a minimum, right away, we should get that,
Yeah.
that moved to alert people. But I would like to know if, again, if this is a warranted stop sign for that intersection. Because I want to be consistent on our decisions on stop signs and just want to make sure that we don't get in a situation, you know, like President Brawley has said, that if something happens and it's not a warranted stop sign, now we're liable.
Right, that's one of my biggest concerns, is that if somebody, a pedestrian feels like they're safe crossing a street, and it doesn't feel like a stop, like the new Briarcliff and Behrman one in Boulder Hill. I don't think that this is the same as that, but I haven't seen the new configuration, but he's saying that it's, you're not gonna do a traffic study based on actual conditions like with pedestrians, because it doesn't exist when you're doing
Right.
design, so I don't know what you would do.
Yeah, I don't either, but just based on what the MUTC says about stop signs and the warrants of stop signs, there's no cross traffic, there's no conflicting traffic, there's no pedestrian traffic, because there's no sidewalks down there. And it's literally, people are just, you know, somebody's making a right turn and somebody's making a left turn, and there's no conflicts in it. So if the intent of the sign is to slow people down before they make the corner, then, I mean, that could be an issue.
Yeah, I would think that one, if it's just a 90-degree bend, that a stop would be warranted.
Yeah,
You
I don't
wouldn't
know.
want to, I guess if I was police or somebody, you wouldn't want people to think, oh, I don't have to stop, how fast can I do this? When it really is 90, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, I'm just trying to be consistent with,
I get it.
with the MUTCD, and definitely that stop ahead sign is not in compliant, but
Okay. Anything else?
Valid argument on the stop sign usage. I appreciate the follow-up to that. Do you recall, Mark or anyone else, when we first looked at that project, because I was kind of surprised once it became kind of finalized and opened, that it did have that 90-degree turn. It seems like I visualized that whole scenario is going to be more of a curve, or like a soft S curve, to where there wouldn't be a warranted stop there. And when at that point did it become a hard 90-degree angle? Or was it always designed to be that? I just don't remember
So
seeing that.
there was some existing conditions out there, which were mostly had to do with the two detention basins that already pre-existed. So we did look at a curve to try to make that soft curve a little bit more subtle of a change for the process of changing the road and reconfiguring traffic. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make that safe. So therefore, we moved forward with the new design with a 90-degree. Also taking into account Gordon Road future extended into play was a major factor. We're looking at Dixon Road, which is a 2-lane road section, versus a boulevard section in Gordon. So primary focus then was also to look at Gordon, future extended in that, and how that boulevard would function, later on. So obviously hard to take into consideration when we don't have a time frame on when that extension is going to take place, but ultimately, that was our deciding factor in looking at the design process, on top of the existing detention basins and the cost to relocate, even if possible, those basins and storm sewer for the outfalls. So those were all the things that we looked at.
Okay. And this probably would have been a question for Intergov if we got to the full agenda, but did 52nd Street ever get to take the stage Saturday evening before the closure? So do you know, are we going to have discussions with them as we did last year with our band of rescheduling them to another possible event, or is it just going to be a loss?
We're currently discussing with them we are in discussions with them right now. One of the things, because we do already have the concert in the park scheduled for this year, we are talking to them about what the amount of money would be to pay out their costs that they incurred for the night and roll their contract to next year. So they do seem amenable. We are going back and forth. Our first offer of covering costs, they came back with what we think is a reasonable counter that we would be presenting to Administrator Zolfel this week. We just got the email today, and the two agents are kind of talking about it on their own. So we're hopeful to have them back next year. We think that'll be the best financial decision for the district, given the amount of money and cost for 52nd Street. So.
Okay.
Are we, another Montgomery Fest question, because I did have somebody ask me that at the fest. We had a photographer down there, and someone asked, are these pictures going to be posted where we can see them, or if we, if we find like our kids or something where we could grab them off? Are you planning on doing that, making a posting with a link so that people can see the pictures that were taken?
He took about 1,000 images, so we've moved about 60 of them into a slideshow that we do plan on sharing later this week. But we probably will not be sharing all of them with the community, but we do have all of those cataloged by day and type of event for village use in the future.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Anything else? Okay. You can see future meetings there, no executive session, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Brzoska. Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
And we're adjourned. Thank you.